Welcome, everyone, to today's Inside BS show. This is your sales tip. It's your sales training for the day. And today we're talking about your 360-degree sales and marketing plan. That's right. This is a business model you're going to be able to use to grow your business quickly. It's the shortest path to the sale. Let's take a look at the different types of revenue in your business or your professional practice right now. There's what I call ad hoc revenue. Ad hoc revenue is you go out, you find one client, you do the work for that one client, you move on to the next client. Really difficult to go out and keep that business model going. It's very difficult to sustain that business model. The second type of revenue is repeat revenue. This is the same client, but you do different work for them. Repeat revenue, an example of that is if you're a lawyer and you're an intellectual property lawyer and your partner is a trust and estates attorney, you do intellectual property work and your client comes to you and they say, hey, I need a new will. Well, that's the same client, but new work. So there's trust there because they've seen you do work before, but you have to reinvigorate or develop new trust in the second person who's going to do the different work. Now, the difference between repeat and recurring revenue, and that's the third type, is recurring revenue. It's the same client and the same work. So you're that intellectual property attorney, you protect a trademark for someone, they bring you another mark, same client, same work, they've seen you do it over and over again, so there's no new trust that needs to be developed. They already have trust in you. So repeat revenue is same client, new work. So they trust you, but they just haven't seen you do the new work. Recurring revenue is same client, same work. Trust is already built. You could do it over and over again. They don't need to be sold on the second time they're going to work with you. The fourth and final type is passive revenue. Now, if you want to be a stickler for language, passive revenue can also be referred to as indirect revenue, and these can be referrals that come from evangelists or that come from your thought leadership activities. So you deliver a speech or you do a webinar, and somebody sees the webinar and they say, I have that exact problem. I'm going to call Dave because he showed me on the webinar how he solves the problem. I want him to solve the problem for me. I'd consider that passive revenue. Another form of passive revenue is a referral from an evangelist. Now, let me explain the difference between an evangelist and a client. A client is somebody who's invested in your services. They paid you for your services. An evangelist is somebody who's never paid you for your services, yet they refer you to other people anyway. So in my case, I refer a lot of lawyers to ethics attorneys all over the United States. So a lawyer comes to me and they say, hey, I've made a mistake. I've run afoul of the bar regulations in New York. I need a New York ethics attorney. Well, I'm not an attorney, but I know a really good ethics attorney in New York State. So I refer that client to the ethics attorney. I'm an evangelist for him. I'll give you another example. You do home repairs and you're really good at doing handyman work, home repairs, average handyman type work. Well, a realtor that is really popular in your area sends you business like crazy, but that realtor doesn't even own a home. They live in an apartment. They've never experienced your services. That realtor is an evangelist for you if you do home repairs and you're a handyman. So those are the four types of revenue: ad hoc, repeat, recurring, and passive. Now, let me give you a little perspective. Ad hoc revenue is high in acquisition intensity, meaning it's hard to attract new clients for ad hoc revenue. The lifetime value from ad hoc revenue is low. You do the one matter and the client moves on and you move on. And there's low personal leverage. You do all the work yourself. Repeat revenue is medium acquisition intensity, meaning it is a little bit easier to attract repeat revenue because the client already trusts you. It's medium value because it's a secondary engagement. So in terms of lifetime value, it's medium. And in terms of personal leverage, it's medium again because you probably have to manage the client relationship, but you don't have to do the work yourself. Somebody else is doing the work. So it's medium. It's better than ad hoc, but it's not as good as recurring revenue. Recurring revenue is low acquisition intensity. Remember, same client, same matter. So the trust is already there. So it's easier for people to invest in you because investing the trust is a no-brainer. They've seen you do this before and they know you're effective. It's high lifetime value because if you do it once, you do it twice, you do it 3 times, you can do it 100 times. And it's high personal leverage. You can develop systems and processes. You can employ people to keep delivering that service over and over again because it's repetitive. And then when it comes to passive revenue, it's low acquisition intensity, meaning it's easy for you to acquire new passive revenue because you're going out to the masses. You're doing the speech anyway. You're doing the webinar anyway. You're writing the article anyway. You're engaging people in groups anyway. It's high lifetime value because they've seen you and they trust you implicitly, and you've taught them how to work with you either through your referral partners or through your thought leadership. And it's maximum personal leverage because you're out there teaching many people, educating many people, sharing your value with many people, and they will come to work with you. Let's look at how most people set up their 360 marketing plan, what most people believe is their marketing plan. Some random person finds you somehow, the phone rings, and you get a client. That's how most people, particularly in professional services. So if you're watching this now and you're a lawyer, you're a CPA, you're an architect, you're an engineer, you're a professional speaker. Oh my goodness, professional speakers are some of the worst. You're a consultant. You're sitting at home waiting for the phone to ring. You're waiting for random people to find you. That's not a business model. That's not a marketing plan. That's not a strategy. The revenue roadmap is my strategy. It's a strategy I've used for 30 years. I used it to build a real estate business for Marriott. I used it to build a consulting business when I was a managing partner at the Gallup organization. And I'm using it right now to build my own consulting business, my 7-figure consulting business. You can use it too. So let me share with you the revenue roadmap. Step 1 is to identify your ideal client and your ideal evangelists. So if you're in the B2B space, we can easily target an ideal client for you. If you're in the business to consumer space, we probably will target evangelists. Sometimes we can target clients and evangelists, but you have to have a target in mind, and they should be the person who is ideal for you and your business. The second step is to engage these people. Now, once we identify the target, we call them suspects. Why do we call them suspects? Because we suspect they're going to be ideal clients or ideal evangelists for us. The third step is to make an offer to these prospective clients or prospective evangelists, to these suspects. We make an offer of a free report, or we make an offer of a course or an offer of a consultation. We make some type of offer to get them to convert from suspects into prospects. And what does that mean? They take us up on the offer. They immediately become somebody who we need to find out more information about. And what we do is, once they take us up on our free offer, we reach out to them, we call them, and we qualify them. We find out if they have the qualities of an ideal client who's ready to buy right now. If they're not ready to buy right now, if they're not ready to refer us right now, if they're an evangelist, we put them on a list and we continue to communicate with them forever. We nurture them. After we nurture them, or while we're nurturing them, every 4th or 5th opportunity that we have to get in front of them, either with email or with direct mail or in person, we make an offer for them to work with us. And that offer is called a gateway, either a gateway product or a gateway service. It's the gateway to our relationship. They walk through the gateway and then they're into a relationship with us. Once they've agreed to work with us on that gateway product or with that gateway service, we then onboard them. We find out everything there is to know about them personally and about their business. We ask the most invasive, the most intimate questions so that we can uncover other ways to help them, and that leads to a secondary product or service. You see, my friends, our goal through qualifying and onboarding is to continue to deepen and develop that relationship. We're looking for repeat, recurring, and or passive revenue. That's our goal. We don't just want one referral from evangelists. We want 100 referrals from evangelists. We don't want a client to work with us just one time. We want our clients to work with us 100 times. So how do we build and customize this revenue roadmap for you and for your business? Well, when it comes to identifying ideal clients or ideal evangelists, what we need to do is we need to answer these questions. We need to answer these 5 questions. First, who provides you with the best return on your investment? What client, what evangelist provides you with the best return on your investment? Second, how do your best clients or your best evangelists, your best referral sources, how do they find you? Third, what is your average client lifetime value? Or what is your average evangelist lifetime value? How much money do these people spend with you over the course of the time they've worked with you? How much money do these people refer to your business over the lifetime that they've been referring to you? What is your cost per lead? How much does it cost you to get a new lead? What is your cost per acquisition? How much does it cost to acquire that customer? The difference between number 4 and number 5, cost per lead, is just somebody new that you get to speak to. So it's a new prospect, someone who's asked for your free report, someone who's taken you up on your free offer. How much does it cost you to get somebody to that point? Then number 5 is, what is your cost per acquisition? How much does it cost to actually get a new client, to get somebody to invest in your services? The next step is we engage suspects. Engage the suspects. What does this mean? Well, we reach out to people in groups. So you need to find out, in order to engage the suspects, we need to find out what groups do your ideal clients or your ideal evangelists belong to. We need to find out, where do they read industry and community news? Are they on websites? Do they get physical newsletters? How do they keep up with what's going on in their industry or in their community? Who else sells to them? Who else do they trust to sell products or service to them? We want to know this because we might be able to do strategic alliance partnerships with them. What are they worried about? What are they most concerned about? What's keeping them up at night related to their business? What frustrates them? What's driving them absolutely nuts? Because if we can solve number 4 and number 5, we probably can figure out a way to do business with them. The way that you can continue to engage people, you need to do this through multiple forms of media. It could be social media, it could be speaking, it could be direct mail. There's dozens and dozens and dozens of ways to do that. When you and I work together, we review the media that you use or that you could use. We want to make sure it's effective and efficient. We want to make sure it's targeted to the ideal client or the ideal evangelist. And then we want to evaluate and adjust. We want to test and review it over the long term. The third step in your revenue roadmap is to make a free offer. Now, there are, again, hundreds of free offers you can make. Our preferred methods are to do a free report or a white paper that people will request and download, to offer an educational course that you can deliver either in person or via video, or to offer a free consultation. Now, if somebody takes you up on a free consultation, that's the opportunity for you to do business with them, for you to convert them into a client. What type of information is valuable to your ideal client or your ideal evangelist? Answer these questions and we'll be on the road to creating your ideal offer. I call that offer a honeypot. To create your honeypot, we need to know what type of information is valuable. Is it an education video? If it is, what topic should it be on? Is it a report or white paper? If it is, what problem is that report going to solve? Is it a consultation? If it's a consultation, what information do they need to hear from you? What evidence do you need to show them in order for them to hire you? The next step is qualification. Now, qualification is very detailed, but when we cover a Rainmaker Roadmap consultation, we look for 4 things with our clients. We look for a problem you can solve. We look to see if they're the decision maker. You know, the old decider, George W. Bush, said that he was the decider. Well, we look for the decider in every business. We look for the resources to work with us. That means they have to have time to invest with us and they have to have money to invest with us. And we look for urgency. We want to know that they're ready to work with us right now. Now, if they have all these things, but they don't have urgency, they have a problem, they're the decision maker, they have resources, but they don't have urgency, we need to build urgency over time. And that's where the next step in the revenue roadmap comes in, and that's nurturing prospects. Nurturing simply involves improving our frequency of communication. It means communicating with these prospects over time, weekly, monthly, or enrolling them in some sort of a community that we manage. And a community means it can be an online community where we communicate with these people on a daily basis. We continue to provide educational material every day. It can mean a weekly email newsletter. It can be a monthly print newsletter, or even just a letter we mail to them, or a card every month. Gold standard is to do all 3 of these things, but one of these things would be a great way to start. So how do you stay in touch with your clients and evangelists? If we do a revenue roadmap consultation with you, we're going to want to know, how often do you communicate with your clients via email? On social media, describe the process and frequency of contact you have with your clients or your evangelists. Print information. What type of print information do you send out to them, and how often? Do you text message your clients? Do they give you permission to text them? If so, how often do you text them? Your community. Do the clients belong to a specific community? What's the location? What's the frequency of the communication that you have with people in your community? What's the size of your community? If you don't know the answers to these questions, that's fine. We can still go through a Rainmaker Roadmap consultation with you. The Rainmaker's Revenue Roadmap consultation with you. We can do that even if you don't know the answers. Our goal is to help you figure out the answers. Your gateway product or service is the next critical step. So you're nurturing your clients. You make an offer to them that has all these elements. The gateway product or service needs to be an easy decision. It needs to be something they need right now. There needs to be a low threshold of commitment. What does that mean? It can't cost $1 million, but it can cost a reasonable investment that they can afford. It has to offer maximum exposure to your expertise. They have to be exposed to your brilliance in some way. It can be a paid event. It can be a paid study or an assessment you do on their business. The goal is to create options for additional work with this gateway product or service. I love coming in and doing a strategic review as your gateway product or service because it creates huge options for additional work. Why do the clients initially work with you? Describe for me an initial engagement with a client. This is going to help us create your gateway product or service. What are you known for? What is your brand? Why do people come to you? Again, that's going to help us create your gateway product or service. How do you showcase your additional capability? How do you demonstrate your brilliance? That will help us create that gateway for you. Are people willing to engage you immediately after your first interaction with them? Do they immediately say, I need more from you, you're so smart, you've delivered so much value? So your revenue roadmap takes you down a path that will help you grow your business, and that's going to lead to additional back-end revenue The final element that we want to talk about is onboarding. It's bringing these people into the fold. So they've agreed to work with you on your gateway product or service. What you need to do when you bring them on board is a deep analysis of their business. The goal is to build a relationship beyond just this one interaction. We make lists of vulnerabilities within the client's organization as we're onboarding them. We're asking them all kinds of questions. We're helping them make money, save money, and reduce risk after the gateway product or service takes place. And then we're going to deliver, after our gateway engagement, we're going to deliver what's called a report of findings. We're going to tell them everything that's wrong with their business, and we're going to share our ideas for solutions. And the goal after we onboard the client is to get to additional activity, repeat, recurring, or passive revenue. If you'd like me to do a Rainmaker's Revenue Roadmap consultation with you, you want to do a Revenue Roadmap consultation with me, all you need to do is click the link below this video. I'm going to ask you the questions you saw in this video, and we're going to diagnose how you can implement each of these steps. And then you can take that roadmap and go and implement it in your business. Your business is going to dramatically improve. You're going to have systems for each of these steps. You're going to automate each of these steps in your business. And what will happen over the long term is your business is going to almost run on autopilot. Your client attraction systems are almost going to run on autopilot. Is this a marketing plan? Yes. Is it a 360 marketing plan? Yes. Is it a sales plan? Yes. It is your entire business development plan for your entrepreneurial venture or for your professional practice. So your next steps are here. All you need to do is follow these 7 steps. Complete the revenue roadmap assessment, review it with me. Are there gaps in your revenue roadmap? How much money and opportunity are you losing? Why haven't you addressed this in the past? What happens if you don't solve this now? Would you like some help? If you reflect on these 7 elements after the Rainmakers, if you reflect on these 7 elements after the revenue roadmap presentation that you just watched, and you'd like more information or you'd like more help, I'm here to help you. Simply reach out to me by following the link below. Click on the link. It'll take you to a page where you can schedule a revenue roadmap consultation. I'd like you to schedule a revenue roadmap consultation with me because I'd like to help you. Until tomorrow, I'm Dave Lorenzo. Here's hoping you make a great living and live a great life.